Hey guys, this is the Smut
Spice
and Everything Life podcast. We're your hosts. I'm Chelsea.
And I'm Marie.
And today we are reviewing Birthday Girl. If you haven't read Birthday Girl, you're going to be confused. So,
I mean, you'll be able to follow along, but you're not going to get everything. But this is a book club, so you should have been reading it.
if you didn't read it, you missed out. I rated this a 5-star. Definitely a 5-star read for me. I really like the forbidden age gap romances.
4.5 for me. It was really good. 4.5. It's going to be really hard to get a 5 from me. So 4.5. It was very much worth the read.
What
about Spice?
I was about to say Spice. Depending on how far into smut you are, and I feel like I dove kind of deep, this is only about a 3, maybe, for me.
I feel like if you're new to smut, it would be a 4.
I agree.
So new to smut, 4. Old to smut, 3.
Yeah.
So Birthday Girl is a age gap forbidden romance. General overview is a couple together, grow apart. She falls in love with the dad. There's your forbidden romance. There's your age gap. Now let's dive into the good, juicy stuff.
The first thing is, how did you feel about how they met?
When their initial meet, because if you read the back of the book, you know kind of what's going on. I didn't read it, so I figured that, okay, something's going on because you first get introduced to this sexy older man that she meets in a theater, and she is a young girl that is having boyfriend issues. You know, boyfriend's supposed to be picking her up or doesn't answer his phone call.
On her birthday.
Stands her up and she goes to the movie theater, sees this older guy, or doesn't see, but she loses her phone, meets this older guy, and she's immediately attracted to him. Yeah. Immediate chemistry between the two. So I was like, this is too good to be true. So something's going to happen with this older guy. And I mean, he is tatted, veiny, muscular arms, and you know I like a good veiny, muscular arm. And she thought that he was younger than he was, and he thought that she was older than she was. So, but I definitely thought that, okay, this is the good trap. Like, she's trapping you. Something's going to happen because it's too good.
I think one of my favorite lines from the meeting was, so how old are you? Like 22, 23? Yeah, sure, eventually. That and I really want abs, but these donuts are just so good. And he laughs at her, and she's like, what? And he says, you're just, I don't know, really cute.
Well, she takes out a half a dozen donuts and she's eating them, and he's like, are you going to eat all of those? And she said, are you judging me? He's like, no, I was just wondering if you were going to share.
I just think how they met
and then the
so
match,
cute.
Like, he finds out that it's her birthday, and he, instead of, doing anything or, making it weird or awkward, he takes a match.
He lights it for her, and blowing out candles and
is her thing.
Any
candle she sees, she's going to blow out and make a wish. So I thought that was a really sweet gesture of his.
She obviously loves all things 80s since she went to watch that 80s movie.
Was that like foreshadowing? Because she's so very much in that era. Like, she acts like she's from that era. She loves that era. Everything about it is 80s.
Another thing too is like her mental age. She seems more like she was born during the same time, and she falls in love with someone who is born during the 80s.
She's very much, I feel like she is very mature for her age. I mean, she has her teenage qualities, but she is very mature for her age because she's had to grow up faster than she should have.
Right. But so they watch the movie, they enjoy it, they have fun together, and they are leaving, and she gets this phone call from Cole, and she can't hear him.
Her current boyfriend.
She thinks he's walked away, he's gone, but he walks back and he's like, did you say Cole? Cole Lawson? Hi, I'm Pike Lawson. I'm Cole's dad. Dun dun dun.
How awkward of a car ride was that?
Not a fucking word said. Not a single word.
I would be so embarrassed. And then she's like, she knew that his dad was there, but there was no real relationship.
She never met him because...
So the fact that he knew Cole was in jail, and he's like, well...
if he's calling me, it means he's in trouble.
Yeah. So you want to ride to the jail with me? And it's like,
what
sure.
an awkward ride. And she's like, I hope he's got money to bail him out because I just spent my last tuition on fixing his car.
His car, Cole's car, not her car, because she doesn't have a vehicle because she decided to use her last student loan money to pay for his car to get fixed.
I'll defend that a little bit and say it seemed like her car had a lot of issues, so it's probably cheaper to fix Cole's car.
Yeah. I mean, I guess I can see.
Hers was older.
I can see that. It's just still irritating seeing that.
She had to have a car to get back and forth to work anyway.
Yeah, and she fixed his car and then ended up being reliant on him when she couldn't rely on him. That's what's irritating.
That is what's irritating. Cole irritates me quite a bit. Would you have moved in with him?
Whenever they lost the apartment because of the party and they have nowhere to go. So this dad who is not in the picture for however long because of Cole's decision. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're moving in with my dad. I don't know if I would be comfortable with that. I think I'd be like, no, I'm going to stay with my sister.
I don't know. Like,
that would be too awkward for me just because of their history. Regardless of how I would feel having feelings towards Pike, because obviously she had some feelings towards the dad.
She had some attraction.
Yes. I don't know, because she was fighting it and he was fighting it. I don't know if I'd be comfortable enough to be like, yeah, I'll move in. I think I would be, I'm going to stay with my sister.
There again, though, they have this codependency.
That is very true.
Where she didn't want to leave him. And she talks about having this codependency. They're always together. But we don't really see that during the book. We see them really, they've either already drifted apart and she just still says they have that codependency, or they drift apart even more after they move in with Pike.
She and him had a codependency, and then after they lost the friend, they like seriously grew. But then because Cole blamed himself, he just nosedived into alcoholism and partying, and she was so fixated on who Cole used to be, and she was hell-bent on hanging on to that, and when it was already gone.
Yeah.
And that's when I think she was like, we're just codependent. It's always me and Cole. It's always me and Cole. But Cole, he was long gone. He needed therapy. He needed help. And she just wasn't there as far as that goes. She was so infatuated with who he used to be that she made excuses after excuses after excuses for him, when, in my opinion, she should have said bye.
Do you think the real reason she never left every time she wanted to leave was because of her attraction to Pike?
Most definitely. I think she used Cole as an excuse. Yeah, as an excuse.
Even though she'd talk about how they haven't been intimate in so long, she hasn't seen him in so many days.
And even when Cole tried, she had so much animosity towards him that she would, be like, ha ha ha, stop it, your dad's here. But she never really wanted it, because every little thing that he did, with reason, like she had every reason for it to irritate her, festered, and she's just like, she ends up snapping. Well, if you would help, I wouldn't have to do this. We could do this, and blah, 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 blah.
Well, to twist it a bit, do you think that if Cole had been around, would she have grown?
I do not.
To like Pike as much as she did?
I don't think so.
I think she would have. I think she would have, because their chemistry was so organic. And her and Cole were different as night and day. Eventually, if Pike was around enough, and it may have taken longer, because obviously it took about, a month for them to really grow this
They had
relationship.
banner here and there, and they spent so much time together. But that's why I said if Cole was around more, Pike would have had a better relationship with his son, so he definitely would have been like, stop. And then Jordan, if Cole was around, Cole would have been that person that she thought she was in love with. So I think they would have put a stop to it. Do I think the attraction would have been there? Yeah. Do I think they would have acted on it? No. Because Cole was so much of I don't even know the word. Cole was so much in their relationship or in their reasoning, and he wasn't even there, and he was a part of everything. So if he was physically there, most definitely, I don't think it would have happened.
Even if they had butted heads more than they did, because every time they were together, it was every time there was an argument between them.
But if he was there and doing stuff, those arguments wouldn't have happened.
I still think he would have avoided his responsibilities.
Yeah.
I don't think...
He wasn't mature.
No.
He definitely wasn't there.
Even when he was home, He never did the dishes.
Well, he was barely there. And when he was there, he was drunk.
Right.
He was passed out. Yeah, he was hungover, so he didn't do anything. And that was a big thing, is that if he was there, he was sleeping. And if he was awake, he was leaving. He was never there.
So obviously everybody handles grief differently. Do you think Jordan's maturity had something to do with how she handled her grief with Nick versus how he handled his grief with Nick?
The friend that passed
away. Or do you think Cole reacted the way he did solely because he felt responsible?
I think Cole was already immature, obviously, because he was drinking, and that's the whole reason why he didn't pick Nick up. But I definitely think that it was just another excuse for Cole to drink as much as he did. And he definitely used Nick as that excuse. Where Jordan was already knew what she wanted to do with her life, and she had that path for her that she was like, I'm going to get out of here. I'm going to make something for myself. I'm going to do better. And losing Nick, who was her first friend that was a male that saw her for her and not a piece of a body. Like, he was truly her friend.
I've read it first a few months ago, and then we listened to it on audio.
Which I think you need to read it, not listen to it. You need to read it.
Over the audio voice everything in each other's chapters, and it's off-putting. But read it, because it's so much hotter when you read it.
You get pictures in your mind. You can vocalize. You get voices in your head for male characters and female characters, and you can definitely picture it way better in your mind than if you listen to somebody trying to explain it to you.
Oh, when I read it the first time, I thought that her and Nick were together, because Pike said something about, was he okay with you ended up dating Cole? And she's like, well, he never knew. And I don't know, it just came off to me as, well, she dated Nick first and then fell into Cole's arms after, but I could have been wrong about that. Maybe they were just all friends.
She said that they were always just friends, and that Nick was her first real friend. Do I think that maybe a relationship would have happened between her and Nick? Maybe years later, because she said he treated her like that was her brother or whatever. Yeah. Like there wasn't that chemistry between her and Nick. It was just platonic.
Well, since we were talking about Cole's maturity, he's obviously been babied by his mother his whole life when she wasn't using him.
I don't think he was babied. I think he was manipulated.
Manipulated, but also she supported him in a way. He lived with her until they got the apartment together. Or actually,
I was going to say, she never babied him.
Pike was the one that provided for him. She took the credit, actually.
Yes, Pike did everything, while the mother manipulated both him and Pike. Like, Cole and Pike both got manipulated by her, and she used Cole against Pike.
Mm-hmm. Cole is an example of how your children can't support themselves when you provide for them, and because of that, they're less mature. Jordan, on the other hand, never had anything. Her parents didn't care about her. Her mom left her. Her dad married her stepmom, and
her dad was there but weak.
Yeah, Jordan and Cam were left to provide for themselves. Cam leaves her when Cam turns 16.
Yeah.
And I'm kind of like, why didn't you take your sister with you?
Or come back for her. Yeah, but that bothered me.
Whatever. Moving on, because that's a whole nother subject. So Jordan has been through some shit, and you can tell through her maturity level. Like, she might be 19, but in her mind, she's more like
mid-20s, early 30s. Yeah, for sure.
And I think that's where Pike's attraction to her starts. Like, she looks older, she acts older.
And she doesn't, going back to the fact that she is 19 with a maturity level of a 20, 30-year-old, that shows in the fact that she has no friends. Mm-mm. Shell, her boss, who is older, who mothers her and takes, is there for her, whatever.
Is more like a friend than anybody else.
Yes. Like, she doesn't have any friends her age.
And she even says, like, Cole's friends are not my friends.
Repeatedly.
I don't like to hang out with them. And then she to mention this, at the barbecue, she goes to hang out with someone her age and
ends up calling her sister.
Please pick me up. Like, I do not relate to these people. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
And
she tries and she's like, I just can't.
No.
I have nothing in common with these girls. They're over here spending daddy's money and I'm over here. How am I going to pay for?
Which bill am I going to pay this month?
Which bill am I going to pay? Because she has bills. Mm-hmm. She doesn't have an apartment and she has bills. She has bills from the apartment that needs to be paid. And then her and Cole are supposed to be, saving money to get a new apartment. And he is blowing every check that he gets. And she, to spoil herself and gives herself a birthday present, buys a $7 theater ticket to see an 80s horror flick.
Yeah. And we know how Pike matured quickly because
he had to grow up
for Cole because Lindsay didn't. Really, the roles were reversed. Cole was acting like Lindsay and Pike is maturing like Jordan. Pike went out and got a job. He worked and then came home, took care of Cole because Lindsay was already out and he had to pay the babysitter. He stayed up all night taking care of him.
Lindsay would come home at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, drunk, screwing whoever she screwed.
And then when Pike got enough of it, he leaves. Lindsay manipulates Cole into thinking that Pike was the one doing the cheating and not taking care of Cole. All the responsibility was left on her. Cheating,
didn't treat women right.
Yeah, and it's in reality, no, that's Lindsay. And then what irritates me is Cole doesn't like Pike because of the lies that Lindsay told him. He cheated on me. He's degrading. Blah blah blah. Cole cheated on Jordan. Are you a little hypocrite?
Yep.
That's what drives me nuts. You don't like your father because he supposedly cheats on your mom, but you go and cheat on Jordan?
When they move in and he's trying to get some from Jordan and Jordan's like, no, your dad's here. And no, it wasn't when they first move in. It was later on because she had already mowed the grass and all that stuff. And he's trying to get some from her and she's not feeling it. And he's like, just shut the fuck up and fuck me. Oh, no. And I'm like, no. Yeah, come on. Let me break that dick because I'm going to twist it.
Sometimes they say that and it's attractive.
Not when it's a degrading way.
But it's the way he says it.
Yeah.
And the
like, I'm tired of hearing you talk.
She was trying to have a real conversation with him. And he's like, no, just shut up and fuck me.
Which I don't know if it's necessarily that she was trying to have a real conversation. She was trying to pacify the situation. And then he just kept on. And so she had that snide comment like, well, maybe we could do stuff if you would actually pick up some slack and do what you're supposed to do instead of acting like an ungrateful, spoiled brat by letting your daddy take care of everything. We're not here to mooch off of him. And I'm picking up your slack.
That was her problem the whole time with moving in with Pike. She didn't want to make him feel like she was using him.
Yep.
She picked up all the slack that Cole left off, plus doing her own chores.
Cleaning, washing, cooking.
Picking up after Cole, then she starts doing the yard work, which leads me to my next question. What are some of the scenes that are worth mentioning for you?
Well, so do I need to say my favorite one or do I just skip around? Because I just mentioned about the lawn scene and I gotta say that's worth mentioning. When Pike is gawking at her and then sees the neighbor gawking at her, he gets mad. He goes down there, he's going off on her and he's like, you're not gonna do this and it's me or Cole that's gonna do the yard work. And she walks away and says, yes, daddy. But before that, she goes, oh, I have it. Hang on. I realized things were probably a little different back when you were a teenager 89 years ago. It was 20, thank you, Pike says. But nowadays, she continues, we don't hold a woman responsible for a man's behavior. If he wants to step off somewhere private and do a little self-loving, hey, I'll never know. Not my problem. He wants to look. I can't stop him. And then he's like, damn brat. I think that's one of my favorite scenes. And then another one worth mentioning is, where's my fucking loofah? If you read the book, you know.
You know where that loofah is. And you know why that loofah is where it is.
I'm just going to say, where's my fucking loofah? I'm just going to walk around the house. Where's my loofah? I love it. It's been gone for days now. I don't know where. Lupa is.
My favorite scene that always gets me. Dutch
Best
is my favorite
Pike's best friend.
side character. Favorite. And I don't know if it's because he knows
Something.
or if it's because he insinuate even though he doesn't know for sure.
And he's so wishy-washy. He's like, this is your dream girl, but you don't need to go for this girl.
Right.
Like, he's like, she needs to leave because she is everything that you want. She needs to leave.
But Pike's like, no.
Shut the fuck up. No,
So,
I know what I'm doing.
One of my favorite scenes with them is Pike had went to Grounders because Dutch called him.
Right.
And he's like, you got to get over here. Jordan's acting up. He's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I'm not going. And he goes.
Well, Dutch hangs up on him. He's trying to ask him a question and it's like, click.
So he goes
anyway. I'm not going. He shows up.
Which the whole thing that plays out is hilarious. Especially when she's like, you're not my dad. And he's like, I know, because the thoughts I have about you are not in the least bit fatherly.
They're trying so hard to fight their attraction.
So hard. But then Dutch drives Pike home so Jordan can drive herself home in his truck. And Dutch says, she seems nervous around you. And Pike is like, well, I can be intimidating. And Dutch says, yeah, she looks like she wanted to straddle your intimidating cock right there in the bar. Pike's like, what the fuck, man? That's my son's girlfriend. He's like, I'm just saying, you guys seem to have your own language.
When y'all stare at each other, it's like y'all have
your own language.
And I'm like...
Because they do.
They do. And they are fighting it so hard for a child who doesn't deserve it. I mean, I get it as a parent, that would be so hard because that is his only child.
Right.
A child that he has a very turmoil relationship with that he is trying to mend. So as a father, I couldn't imagine being in that situation, especially having the girl not making it easy for him to say no.
Not at first, they're both fighting it.
Yes.
Except for these longing stares. They're fucking each other with their eyes.
And in the shower. In their mind.
Yes. But they fight it so hard at first. But what leads them to their breakdown is her coming home from work to find Cole in the pool with his side piece.
I'm going to back up for just a second because I just mentioned about the shower scene. Do you, this to me, and you probably feel differently, but this to me was like Jordan's official turning point.
Yes.
When she was in that shower.
You're right.
And she was trying to mentally get herself off.
She was telling herself
thinking
it's Cole,
about
it's Cole.
And then eventually, like, she is out loud saying, oh, Cole, oh, Cole. And then eventually she's like, nobody's going to know. And she goes in her mind and says, Pike.
And it's a whole, like...
I had to go back and make sure Pike didn't get in the shower with her. Like, did I miss this? Because the amount of imagination that was going on and the scene that was playing in her head was very graphic.
It was written like it was actually happening.
Am I the only one that when I'm doing that to myself, I'm not... My scenes aren't that graphic. Am I doing it wrong? Don't answer that. Answer that. I want to know your opinion. Not like graphic details, but is your imagination very well playing when you're playing?
Pike has an imaginary trip near the end of the book, and it's of her telling him that she is pregnant.
Which he does it in the shower too.
Yes, but she didn't tell him she was pregnant in the shower. It was
I know, but I'm saying that's where where's my fucking loofah? Like, his imagination is just as graphic as hers.
Yes, and I think it's just the way Penelope writes. It's overdone for me, but when Pike is daydreaming about her telling him that she's pregnant, it pulled on my heartstrings so much. Because that's special to a woman, but when it's special to a man...
That was like, his first, like, I think that was his first, like, I'm older. Like, he wasn't thinking about whatever. Like, he wanted more kids, but I don't think he really thought...
it was going to happen.
Right. And the fact that he had that very graphic dream about her, and instead of him being upset about it, he was happy. He was excited. He was wanting that. back to the whole Jordan thing, I think that was her turning point where she was like, he is who I want.
Yes.
Not Cole.
I agree.
And then I think that's why it didn't affect her. Back to your question with the pool.
That was her admitting to herself that she obviously wasn't in love with Cole. She loved him. She had love for him in a different way, but Pike is in game for her. But her finding Cole in the pool with his side piece. What was your reaction to that? Because mine was rough.
So I am a calm person when they get really, really mad. If I was her, if I was Jordan, I probably would have reacted. I would have went out there and made it very known that I saw them. And then,
which she did.
Yeah. And then I would have just calmly been like, okay, we're done. And I would have got my stuff just like she did. And I would have left, because at this point she was over him anyways. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it affected her. And I would have been the same way. It wouldn't affect me. It would have hurt me.
Yeah.
But it would not have affected me. I probably would have been the same way.
She seemed hurt.
Well, she said, why'd you even bring me here?
No. Yeah, she
did.
And then
she did say, why am I never good enough for anybody?
She says, my mom, Jay, Cole, I am forever the most pathetic fucking person I know. I keep wishing the lousiest people want me. Why? And it's because we just want to be enough.
And you said Jay. So if you haven't, Jay is her first boyfriend. She's only been with 2 men. Jay is her first boyfriend that was physically abusive to her in high school. She was his punching bag. And he still stares at her. He still looks for her, and he still tries.
Taunts. You can see that he wants to do something bad to her.
He ends up trying.
And then she grabs him damn scissors. Yep. I was like,
you go, girl. But so I just wanted to give backstory about Jay.
She doesn't understand, why do I want this attention from the lousiest people? Because we just want to be enough for someone. I have felt that before. But my reaction to her seeing them in the pool, it made me physically sick, because I've went through a similar, not really, I didn't catch them red-handed, but I went through a similar situation. And finding out they'd been with someone else, it's gut-wrenching, it's heartbreaking. You feel anger, hurt. I don't know. It made me sick all over again.
Well, like you said, anger, hurt, resentment, and then worthlessness, because why weren't you
Why wasn't I enough?
I get that, and I understand that.
And if you don't want to be with me anymore, tell me and leave me.
Well, Cole didn't have balls, but the balls on him that time where you're going to go to a house where your girlfriend lives, and your dad live.
And your dad's upstairs asleep.
Oh, I thought you were sleeping.
I thought you were at work. And that makes
it right?
And then she's like, yeah, I was at work, but I mean, how long has this been going on? Since her birthday? You slept with this girl on her birthday at the party you threw for her with all of your friends. That got y'all kicked out of your apartment, bro.
And back to Cole. Cole didn't think that he was enough either. Cole was dealing with his own stuff. Not to say that what he did to her was right. I'm not justifying that. But Cole was dealing with his own crap at the time. And Jordan, he never felt good enough for Jordan. So then when he did come home and try to get attention from her, and then she would always say pretty much how worthless he was, well, then there's this side piece that, drops some panties and is, oh, Cole, whatever. So that's going to screw with his head too. Do I condone what he did? Absolutely not. I can just see how he could have done that, though.
I have mixed emotions on Cole.
Cole for me is a typical 19-year-old traumatized boy that has been manipulated unknowingly, unwilling to acknowledge how badly, and he doesn't know his place in life.
He doesn't, and that's another one of his problems is Jordan knows where she wants to be in life, and he doesn't.
Exactly. So he's got a lot of resentment towards her. Like, he loves her. He doesn't want to hurt her. He wants her to be happy, but he knows that he's not the one that's going to make her happy.
Which is sad. Let her go.
Yes. But I also think that he knows that she didn't have anywhere to go. It's just like after that, when they did break up.
That was always in the back of my head. Is he leaving it alone because he knows she has nowhere else to go?
Well, that's what she said. He was like, no, let her stay here because she doesn't have anywhere.
Yeah.
because he knew that she was safe there and he cared for her. He wanted her to be safe and somewhere that she was comfortable, and he knew that she was comfortable there.
You're right. Which I
But
knew
then the
she
mom,
said that. This bitch.
Lindsay, is going to sit there and try to make a situation that's non-existing existed. Like, there was no issue, but she tried to make it an issue.
Oh, of course. Because she wouldn't be happy until Pike was miserable. But backing up a little bit, I think the arguments between Jordan and Pike were a lot of built up sexual tension
And
coming
pettiness.
out. And pettiness.
Oh my gosh,
But
the pettiness between them.
You have issues with Pike because of the way he takes his words out on her.
He degrades her because he's angry at somebody else, and he takes that on her, and that pisses me off. Stop talking to her like that. It's not her fault because of how these guys act.
And I feel like he has a lot of problems, like, I don't even know, expressing his feelings because he's never had these feelings.
But he's old enough to. Like, he's old enough to.
But he hasn't. He doesn't know how to process, I have feelings for my son's girlfriend, but she's a kid. He can't.
He's had relationships.
Several
relationships.
But he's never been in love. Pike, at 38 years old, is falling in love with his son's girlfriend, and he's never been in love before. And he's fighting it so hard.
Okay.
And he's trying to protect her, and she's being a brat.
I can see what you're saying. I get what you're saying. You're saying that because his relationship maturity, they're both kind of at the same level. He's freshly experiencing all of these emotions at the same time.
And so is Jordan, because she's never been in love either.
Okay. I see it. Okay, I will let it slide. I understand.
I'm not saying that him talking to her like he does isn't degrading, because it is.
But he doesn't know how to properly
But he doesn't know how to properly express himself.
Okay. I didn't think about it like that, but that makes sense. Does it condone what he's saying? No.
Just like Cole's behavior doesn't justify.
It does explain it, and it does make sense. If he's never experienced these emotions, how does he express it? Okay, I get it. Okay. Pike. I'll ease up on Pike.
I try to give Daddy Pike some.
Daddy Pike. You and Daddy Pike.
What I tell you?
I read this book, she would make comments. Oh, Daddy Pike. Oh, Daddy Pike. I'm like, what the hell? I get it now.
I love Pike.
I get it now.
I mean, if I was in Jordan's shoes, I would have sought that out too.
As a girl, as a female, and you're younger, and you see a man physically attracting, and he's got the body that you like with the tattoos, but he's older, and he's got his shit together, that
is attractive.
Was a turn on when I was younger. Like, yes. You could be 40, and I'm like, I mean, do you want to adopt me?
All right, we're getting into some dark romance there.
I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, that was like, they were hot.
I wasn't thinking, do you want to adopt me? I was thinking, you want to cross this forbidden line and fuck me?
No, because I want to live there. I want that life.
Yeah, and if it was up to me, I'd have it.
No, but if he adopted me, he couldn't get rid of me. There's plenty of, I wasn't his blood.
If he married you, he couldn't get rid of you. Jordan was on the right track here.
True, I guess. Okay.
At 19 years old, you're marriable.
All right.
It would be kind of weird when it's like he's, 60 and you're still living at home with him and you've never been in a relationship. Okay, anyway.
Hold on a second. Because who is that old rich dude that adopted his Asian daughter and ends up marrying her?
Whoa, I read that one.
No, it's not a book. It's real life.
Oh, it's real life.
Yes, he adopted an Asian girl and like raised her. Like, I mean, she was older, not like 16 or anything, but she was older and raised her. And then they end up together. The cops should have looked into that. Just saying. Something was happening when she was underage.
When it's in a book, I'm like, ooh, that's hot. When it's in real life, I'm like, ooh, pedophile.
Hell, I know y'all know what I'm talking about. He's an old white guy, and she is an Asian girl, and I cannot remember his name. I'm gonna Google it because it's gonna bother me.
Anyway, moving on, because we're way off subject here. Kind of.
I feel like we're on subject. I'm the one that brought up the adoption because I'm a weirdo. Maybe that's why that was in my head.
Maybe. All right, let's
That's
get
my
into
couch,
something-
y'all.
Let's get into something juicy.
That's my couch. I keep moving. I'm like, these folks are going to think that I'm over here letting gas go, but it's just my couch.
I can't say what I was going to say. We went from gas to how do you feel about their sex scenes?
That's how I feel. The first one, cringe. Their first scene, cringe.
I laughed because
I wanted to be like,
she acts like she can't be dirty. She's like, I wanna go down on you or something like that. He's like, what is that? What do you want? Use your words, Jordan. And she's like, I wanna suck your cock. Why can't you say that?
yeah, that's what had me. That's what had me cringing. It was the fact that
she acted embarrassed about it, which gave me secondhand embarrassment.
Well, and you're sitting here, you're acting like you're so mature and you're older for your age, but yet you have a scene where she is acting like a child in the midst of that. And he is treating her as a child. That made me ick. I did not like that. Now it gets better, much better. But that first scene, I did not like that.
She was feeling self-conscious. She was feeling, what's the word?
Embarrassed? I don't know.
She was feeling, it starts with an I. What's another word?
Independent.
Not independent, bitch. Insecure. She was feeling insecure because she knows that he's been with other women. And they even have that conversation. It goes something like, you're so sweet. And she's like, I'm really not. And this even leads into the dirty talk, I think. And she's like, I'm really not. And he's like, well, what do you like? And she's like, well, what do you do? He's like, you little shit. But I would have asked the same question because I'm like, well, how kinky are you? Because I'm going to do whatever you want me to do, daddy, please. I'm sorry, I had to. But she's feeling insecure, so she's got to ask. And then it leads into the dirty talk, and she's like,
Him saying, use your words.
And then he didn't even expect her to be like, I want to suck your cock. And she was like, I'm like, filthier things have come out of my mouth.
And on your face. Just saying. It got better. But that first scene, I was like, I really hope this gets better because I can't do that.
It got better.
It definitely.
It got hotter.
Definitely got better. Yes, please. What's our next question?
I wanted them to have more sex scenes, but it seemed like every time they tried, they got interrupted. Yeah. And it was by Cole a lot. Like, oh, there comes the guilt walking through the door. We're not having sex now. Or called. Like, mood room.
Or Cam.
Okay. Oh, Cam catching it. Wait a minute. She got off while they're doing it on the table. She gets off and he doesn't even stick anything in her. He just like sucks on her boob or kisses her boob.
And it surprised her.
Yeah, and he's like, did you just?
I will say.
Did you just?
I will say there was some very graphic of how he was doing all of that to her. Like that nipple action. He was very experienced. And it surprised her. She's like, and she was embarrassed by it. He's like, did you just get off? And she's like, I think so.
I wish I could get off that easy.
Your kid ruined them. Like, you can't even feel them. I told you should get them pierced because it's not like you can feel it.
I'm thinking about it.
No, I still have feeling, and I've had two.
I mean, yeah.
I'm over here feeling myself.
No, but I loved their intimate scenes, and I loved when Spike spanked her going up the stairs. Wow, and she's like,
and then later on,
my butt.
Later on, she said, maybe I'll start a fight with him so he can spank me again.
Yes, do it. No, okay.
There's something about the spanking and
that happens after the barbecue. After April.
It happens when
she really showed her age. Now, okay, if it was you walking into that door and you'd had this history with this guy, he knows your feelings on him. What would have your reaction been? Because her reaction to me was a little embarrassingly immature.
I would have been worse because I would have been like, hey, can I play too?
Oh, same. I would have went down there and be like, hey, what are you guys doing? Hey, April.
And I would make sure that I wore those shorts that she wore to the poker,
t-shirt,
and which she still doesn't know it's his.
Right.
But I would have made sure that I had them short shorts and I had like a bikini top on, because if I had a body like hers that was banging, I would be doing that, and I would say, can I play too? I just got home. I'm really bored. Y'all don't mind, do you?
The way that was written, she could have went about that way differently.
I think she was trying to show her age.
She could have went about it still immaturely, but sexier.
Like how I just said.
Like, yes, that's what I'm saying. He hated the way she brought him home, the little root beer float thing, and then
threw it in the the wash machine.
Why would you have thought to throw it in the washer? Anyway, it's whatever. But I would have, I don't know.
Yeah, and then she's
threw it at him, maybe.
I'm glad I got that out of the wash machine before he realized what I did.
He may have changed his mind about me.
I'm just like that. First off, you're dumb. If you're gonna do it, you put it in the dryer, not the wash machine.
Why the dryer?
Because the washing machine, you can wash it away. The dryer, you gotta wipe that stuff out. Like, you've got to actually clean it. If you're gonna be petty, be petty. That to me was not petty. You go in a wash machine, it's like just like, I'm gonna throw it in the dishwasher. You're not doing anything. It's gonna wash away. If you're gonna be petty, do it the right way.
Was it after April? That's when they first had sex.
Yes.
I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I think it was after April, because at that point she was.
Because the first time they got interrupted,
I've got a vibrator with bigger balls than you. And he's like, you spank. Yes. Did you just spank me?
And then she covers her butt. I would have been like, do it again.
Yeah, make the other side even. When Josh spanks my booty, I'm like, other side, gotta make it even. And then I'm like, bedroom.
What was your favorite sex scene of theirs?
Well, I don't know if it was of theirs, but my favorite scene was how she screwed with him on the desk and video called, and he's over there trying to bang in, and she is having a masturbation session
on
with
the
her
corner
chair.
Of a desk or whatever.
Yeah,
it was.
Chair or whatever. I think that was my favorite scene, just because it showed he was trying, not belittling her, but he was trying to call her out, her bluff.
Like, there's no way you could get on stage and strip.
Yes. And so she's like, okay. And then she made him want her, but didn't give it up.
You want
she
to talk about some self-control. And then she's going to say, don't touch yourself.
And then the next day at the work site, what's going on?
That's what Dutch calls. Jordan, do you know what's wrong with Pike? No, why? Because he's been like on a rampage, and
then what do you hear? He closes
the door. He's home. Jordan's like, no, I don't know. Bye.
I have no idea. Bye.
Click. And then Pike, she walks out. Isn't she sitting on the lawn? And he walks up to her.
The neighbor?
And then Mrs. Taft walks up. Jordan, do you want to babysit? And Pike's like, no, she's got class. Oh yeah, I have class on a Sunday.
This is one of your favorites.
Yes,
though,
I know.
Right?
And she's like, yes, Miss Taft. After I do the dishes, I have to do Mr. Lawson.
Because he was making it so awkward.
Like, she's got chores, she's got homework, she's got a class. Like, and Mrs. Taft is just like, okay, that's fine. Maybe next time. Jordan's like, yes, Mrs. Taft. After I go do the dishes, I'm also going to go do Mr. Lawson.
Yeah, in her head.
They're walking up the porch together. Mr. Lawson.
Don't you think it'd be suspicious if we both go in at the same time?
He's like, fuck it, I don't care.
Yeah. I thought they definitely was getting better. You know, they were enjoying themselves. Yes, Pike still had that guiltiness he felt. And I know it bothered Jordan, but I don't think she felt it like Cole did, which is understandable. That is his son. Which Pike, shit. Y'all know what I'm saying, okay? Pike still felt guilty. Jordan still had it, but not as severe because Cole is Pike's son. So that's a different dynamic there.
Jordan felt a little guilt there. But I feel like after what Cole did to her, she kind of didn't care. Pike was in constant war with himself over this.
Yes.
And I understand why it was hard for him, being that he already had a strained relationship with his son. But at the same time, I'm like, bro, you gave Jordan advice in the beginning of this book in the movie theater, and you told her to hit the ground running, do not let your fear hold you back, and to not let other people's happiness define your happiness. And you're sitting here doing that.
Yep.
And she's taking your advice.
And then so fast forward, they have the pool party. Cole has the pool party. His friends are there.
The poker night pool party?
No, I'm talking about the last one where everything hits the fan.
Oh.
Because Cole's back. And Jay comes in, tries to force himself, or is threatening her, like, I'm gonna freaking beat you, pretty much. Like, I'm gonna smack you, because she's mouthing off, and she can see Jay getting madder and madder and what he really wants to do to her. And that's when she grabs the scissors. He walks away, but he doesn't leave.
He kind of like gets stalker vibes. He watches her,
and Jordan tells Pike, if you don't tell him now, I'm
leaving.
He corners her, and then Jay walks in. Pike corners Jordan, and they're kind of intimately arguing. Jay walks in, starts the fight. Pike attacks him because Jay's like, that's fine, you're going to be a stripper just like your sister, and I'll pay for you.
And then he offers to Pike, let's share her. You little bastard.
Oh, I see how it is. He pays all the bills and gets free pussy whenever he wants it. And Pike snaps. And then Cole walks in afterwards, which Cole beats Jay. Cole pops him in the mouth and breaks 2 of his teeth because of the way Jay was talking to Jordan. So Cole definitely still is very protective, because they had already broken up. They weren't together at this point. But anyway, so Jay leaves. Cole's like, oh my gosh, is this true? Mm-hmm. And then their relationship is done. And Jordan packs her stuff and goes to Shell, tries to get her last check, gives her some more money, and then mystery friend shows up and she leaves out of town. Jordan's mystery friend has magically appeared because Penelope didn't have anywhere to go, so she just put in somebody.
I really think that was an afterthought. We had this conversation. Where did this friend come from? Like, she was not mentioned throughout the book at all. She just appears. Okay, but I'm going to rewind again. I know we're all over the place, but I need to rewind to this but Lindsay staying over, which kind of triggered all the things.
Sure.
I wouldn't have let that bitch sleep in my bed. I'd been like, I pay rent here. You need it for a couple nights. You birthed your son. Sleep with him. You don't need privacy.
Stop.
Not while you're here.
Stop pacifying your son.
Yeah.
Stop letting Cole dictate your choices. He is 19 years old, regardless of wanting a relationship. No, son, you're welcome here. I have already offered to pay for your mother a hotel. She can stay at a hotel. She's not staying in my house. We're not together. We're not going to get together. I'm not comfortable with my ex staying in my house. Jordan, you pay rent here. This is your room. You stay in your room. If your mother wants to stay here, she is sleeping on the couch. I don't care if y'all were once intimate. Y'all are no longer together.
Just like
Jordan
Pike
pays
and
rent,
Lindsay
that's
have been
hers.
intimate before. You gonna sleep with Pike? She tries. The audacity on that bitch.
If I was Pike, I'd be like, well, you want to know what? You're his mother. You two sleep in the bed.
That's what I would have said. Anyway, I just had to mention that because
and then Lindsay crawls into the bed with Pike saying, you know the drill. If one of us are horny, then we pleasure each other or whatever.
Bitch. No, bitch.
And then I can make you happy.
She's trying to come back. She just wants him to support her.
I pay all the bills and take care of everything, and you just sit around the house.
Fucking hate her.
Well, I used to make you happy. And he's like,
no, you didn't.
And then he plays back with Jordan, truly making him happy. And he's like, no, you never did. I know what happiness feels like. You never did.
You were just an easy fuck when I needed it. Anyway, I had to mention that because it pissed me off so bad. I can't stand her.
Well, and you make a good point though, because that's why the whole pool party at the end even happens, because he's trying to smooth it over after the mother leaves.
Yeah. But man.
So she leaves, goes to this mystery friend, and she stays. The mystery friend was mentioned briefly when she was working at the bar, because she did say, or Cam said something about, well, her friend's been trying to get her to visit. So it was very briefly mentioned that they were friends very young and they kept in touch very, very briefly.
And afterthought re-entered into that text.
An afterthought. But so she leaves and she stays 2 months, I think. She's gone 2 months. She doesn't tell Cam exactly where she's at. She doesn't tell Shell exactly where she's at. She's on her own trying to
Poor Pike.
figure it out.
Pike lost to Jordan and Cole. He didn't even know that he enlisted until he went searching for him. And
did you see that when
I
Cole
didn't.
was talking? I did.
I had no idea.
When
Which I
he said, I've got a new job, dental, medical, life, benefit, all the benefits and all that stuff. And I'm like, he's enlisting. I saw it coming a mile away.
I didn't.
But why did he enlist? Because he said he was lost and he needed structure. Pike was against it. He said he never said anything to him, but in his mind, he was against it because he didn't know if he was making the right choice. But that's what Cole needed. He needed someone to do that, like to put that structure in his life because he didn't have it.
And during this time, Pike doesn't go looking for her yet.
That's what Pike was originally going to do before he got Lindsay pregnant. So I thought that was a good Amish.
Amish?
No, what's the word?
Omen?
Nope.
A good omen?
Nope. Rewind. I thought that was really sweet of him, to pay Amish.
Pick a different word.
I'm trying.
Amish is the word. Amish is a community.
It was Amish. It's not Amish. That doesn't make sense. Anyways, I thought that was really sweet of him to pay that kind of tribute to his dad. That's what his dad was.
And he wanted to get a tattoo with him before he left, but they never ended up doing that, which made me sad. But they made up for it. And it wasn't until Cole comes back home and talks to him.
As a parent, that scene, I'm not saying I was crying, but I had tears coming down my face because Pike never realized that Cole saw everything that he did for him.
It was eye-opening for Pike, and enlisting was eye-opening for Cole. I feel like it gave him time to reflect. It gave him time to grow up.
He said, I know you took out a second mortgage when I wanted to go to college, and I blew that. Mm-hmm. I know that on my whatever birthday party when Mom and her current boyfriend were fighting and embarrassing me, you took all of me and my friends out to the whatever skating rink or whatever to get away from that. He was listing all these things that he saw Pike do, and Pike never realized that he actually saw it. Because honestly, he didn't treat him like he did. Cole didn't treat Pike like he saw what his dad had gave up for him.
Because he was manipulated by Lindsay. But we've talked about that several times, so I'm not going to say it again.
And what about the tattoo? I thought Cole's tattoo was really sweet. But Pike's, because him and Jordan were not together, nor was there any future.
It was going to happen. He gets the candle for her. Because the birthday girl will always be a part of him. And let me tell you.
He didn't want to forget how she made him feel.
Made me want to cry because it was so sweet. Oh, Pike. Oh.
But then he still has this because of Dutch. Dutch saying, think about everything that you had given up. Think about all the things that we wanted to do. He's like, I love my life, Dutch. But there's things that he didn't get to do. Mm-hmm. And there's nothing that Pike wanted to do happened in his life.
Right.
Because he gave up so much. Because he's a good father. He's a good person. And I definitely can praise him for that.
Yeah, he made all those sacrifices, and Lindsay sacrificed nothing.
Nothing. And he even said, I was an easy meal ticket. You purposely got knocked up because you wanted an easy meal ticket. And man, he nailed it on the head.
Yeah, he did.
But back to what I was saying, like he thought that he was doing right by Jordan because he wanted Jordan to experience life. But Jordan, from the very beginning, she said, I don't care about the wedding. I care about the life. I don't care about this. I care about the life. She wanted the end goal. Like She wanted the happy ending, the happy ever after.
Because she never had that.
And he finally opens the door up to her bedroom. 2 months later, opens the door up.
After Cole and Pike have the heart-to-heart, because Cole kept wanting to talk about Jordan. Where is she? Do you love her?
And once again, Pike, this is what drives me crazy. Be a man and speak up. Your son is now here.
And he's level-headed and asking you about this. Do you love her? She's better off. Dad, I love you, but no one's ever better off.
Right?
Cole, you just stole my heart. I had conflicted feelings this whole time, but you growing up and saying that, thank you.
Yeah, okay. Welcome to adulthood.
I'll respect you now. But yeah, he goes into her room and he looks into her dream diary or whatever it is. And he reads them off and he's like, shit.
I can give you every one of these. I can give
you all of these things. Do you feel like her dreams are typical for a 19-year-old? Or do you feel like they are, her past life has kept her from dreaming bigger.
I think her life has kept her from dreaming bigger because she's never been encouraged to dream big.
Right.
She's always been like, you live in a trailer park, this is your life.
You
know
survive.
What I mean? Yeah. I definitely think that having nothing, seeing stuff that you will never have nor have currently, all she wanted was to come home to a husband, to come home to kids, to have that Christmas around the tree, to have
a freaking clothesline, and he built it while she was gone.
Unknowingly.
Well,
just like she had the dream about the
cigar and didn't even know that he
while
smoked
she
cigars.
Was pleasuring herself in her lingerie.
And then she was like, oh my God,
I didn't know he smoked. But to me, it's like, well, why was he carrying matches? Like, subconsciously.
That didn't even register for me.
And it did with me. But, so her dreams were just so petty, like waking up, driving down the road in a convertible while it's raining. Like,
not petty, just...
I didn't mean petty. Simple, yes. But they're so simple. They're so...
down to earth.
Yeah. It's not like I want to go to Paris. I want to have a fashion show. I want to, have a skyscraper apartment.
She just wanted to have a career. She wanted to marry a good husband that she loved, and she wanted to have kids with him, and she wanted to have this happy, simple life.
Yep.
Which I feel like a lot of these books, these people are rich. They have everything at their beck and call. They need for nothing. And what Jordan wants is our reality.
Yeah, which we are very, very, very
fortunate,
very, very, very blessed and fortunate, and I'm so grateful for what we have.
Same.
And I've got to give it to Penelope for making a book that you can really relate to, as far as that. Like, she even says he lives in a nice neighborhood, but he's not rich.
Relatable, middle class, typical life.
Yeah, a good middle class life.
Yeah, and I think.
Because you don't get that.
That's part of why I love Birthday Girl so much is, yeah, it's a forbidden romance, but it's like...
you can see it happening.
It's for us, because we're not rich, but...
True. There's so much, like, millionaire falling in love with an everyday girl. It's like, really? An everyday girl is not going to run into a millionaire. I take that back. My husband kind of knows somebody like that. He did work for him. That's different.
It is different. How did you feel about the last chapter and the epilogue?
I will say, I just want to mention this because it's worth mentioning. The last chapter, when she screws with Pike after he comes and gets her and says, well, I kind of did see someone else.
Oh. Oh, yeah. When he goes and gets her from the motel.
I haven't been with anybody else. And she's like,
I kind of did. I got lonely and screwed the side of a desk.
In room 206, there was a desk.
That was hilarious. Her sarcasm and screwing with Pike about his age makes the whole fucking book for me.
Okay. Oh, damn it. Okay, yes, I'm very, very happy. The last chapter kind of irritated me. I feel like it kind of left off and it needed to be more. Side note. Now, did you want a story about her best friend and the rocker? Really?
No.
I felt like there was something there because he's all like gloomy, dark kind of thing. And
You're talking about the guy that comes in the motel.
Yes, and he's 90s. And then the friend, I'm like, I feel like that. And then he's got the sisters that are crazy. I'm like,
I don't know that they were sisters. I think they were hookers. But dark romance.
I want to see what that's about. But then the other rooms are partying and there's only one room that's quiet. She notes that. Mm-hmm. And I think that's his room. Probably. And the girls are over there cutting up, playing music. I'm kind of interested to see if that could have been something. Now, last chapter, it was good. I felt like there could have been more. If it wasn't for the epilogue, I would be disappointed. The epilogue made it for me.
I loved how he proposed to her. Can I just say, she's a down and dirty girl, and she's like, all these times he could have proposed to me when I was, clean and had makeup on and all these sweet dinners and breakfast in bed, and you choose now? But I loved it.
And then she's like, oh, can we do it today? And he's like, get married? And she's like, yeah. And he goes, I mean, you really don't care about the wedding? She's like, no, I told you, I just care about the life. And he's like, but I kind of do. I kind of want the wedding.
I've never been married either.
She's like, he's going to see me in a dress and that got to her too.
She faintly hits on like, are you gonna want more kids?
I am so glad that was addressed.
Because we know that he does, but he never expresses it to her.
Right.
So I was glad that she was like, wait, are you gonna like want more kids? And he's like, maybe one. He's like, no. He's like, yes, at least one. And she's like, okay, I can do with that.
But we need to do it quick because I'm getting old.
And then in the epilogue, they have a 6-year-old, and she's 4 months along with their next kid. And I'm like, and the 6-year-old is snuggling with Cole's son.
That are more like brothers than they are. They said, we've explained that they're uncle and nephew.
But they're more like brothers.
But they don't understand
how they've been raised. I loved it.
I did too. And I was just like, that's how it's supposed to be.
The epilogue brought it all full circle for me. It all the way around.
I love how they're like, we let them
go on to their convention, and then they're going to, because she made it big. She opened her own landscape or whatever business. And
they didn't think it was going to be she didn't think she was going to blow up as quickly as she did, but she did one job and it was like explosion.
She hates public speaking and she's going to do a conference. She's freaked out. And yeah, just totally full circle. She got the life.
I know.
And he did too. The life he deserved, the wife he deserved, the kids.
And Cam's,
and a good, obviously.
And Cam's with a
whatever flavor of the week.
Whatever the flavor of the week, wealthy boyfriend.
Sugar daddy.
It still bothers me that Cam's son is briefly mentioned and like there's no discussion about him. That still bothers me. We're not going to get into that because it's over with. But it does bother me as a mother.
Yeah. So,
but very happy. I'm glad how it ended. I was very pleased with them both getting over the fact that of her age, his age, and having the ending and the life that they both deserved.
Same.
Because they did. Both of them had a hard life.
Yes, they did. And they got everything they deserved in the end. So, all in all, loved Birthday Girl. Next week, our podcast will be on Still Breathing by Jennifer Hartman. Yay.
That's the winner.
And then
we have our 3 options, our 3 choices. We have...
I didn't look up the authors, did you?
Do I have a phone? For our next podcast, we have 3 more options for you. We're hoping to give you 3 very different options every time. So the first one is Good Luck With That by Kristen Higgins. We have Puck Me Secretly by Odette Stone. And our last one is Ryan Rule by Sadie Kincaid. So those are our next 3 options for y'all to vote on. And again, if there's another one that you want us to review on more, just comment that also. And if those get more votes, then we'll do that one instead. We're open to everything. We want that little bit of spice and smut in there. But let us know. Comment
your thoughts. Comment your thoughts on the podcast. Comment your thoughts on our next books.
Yeah. Tell us what you, interact with us. Tell us what you like, what you don't like, what you want to see more from us, what you want to see less from us. Be kind. Okay. Don't be ugly. But let us know. We enjoyed it. We hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see y'all next Friday.
Yay. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.